I think it's fair to say that in the fallout of the Leo Carlsson offer sheet situation between the Anaheim Ducks and the Philadelphia Flyers, it feels like everybody is pointing their fingers at one guy. Pat Verbeek, the general manager of the Anaheim Ducks, a guy whose reputation speaks for himself. This is one of the hardest negotiators in the NHL. This is a guy that agents hate to deal with. And he is the general manager of the franchise that was dubbed the most difficult to deal with franchise in the league via the anonymous agents poll from last year in The Athletic. Pat Verbeek is a hardball negotiator, and you can say that when it comes to the Leo Carlsson situation between him and the Ducks, he is at fault for everything going down the way that it went down. Right? But what if I told you that's actually not the case? What if I told you Pat Verbeek is being framed? And this actually may not have been his fault at all. I mean, Leo Carlsson, second overall guy in 2023, he was eligible to sign an extension as an RFA from the moment the 2025 season wrapped up on July 1st. He was eligible to sign for 7, 8 years, which would start in 2026, 2027. He had 45 points in 76 games played back in that time frame, so maybe the Anaheim Ducks wanted to give Carlsson some breathing room. They wanted to say, hey, we don't know if you are going to be him just yet. Let's give you some time in the new season, and then we'll commit the money to you because you can be him. You just gotta show it to us first. 45 points in 76 games ain't the best, so maybe it's not the time to do that. Never mind the fact that Leo Carlsson did that at 20 years old, but this previous season he went out there and had 67 points in 70 games, plus 11 points in 12 games in the playoffs, all without having a contract for next season locked up and signed. Was that Pat Verbeek's fault? Many would say it was, because by the time July 1st of this year rolled around, reports indicated that up to 4 or 5 teams actually submitted offer sheet offers to Leo Carlsson, and he ended up signing the biggest one, which obviously is the one that he's got now. 5 years, $18 million a year from the Philadelphia Flyers. Anaheim then matched the contract, which now is their own. It messes up with their cap space tremendously because you look at it, Pavel Mintyukov is a guy making $7.2 million a year. That is way too much money. The Ducks had to sign him to that dollar amount because they couldn't risk letting him get offer sheeted as well. You now have Cutter Gauthier, who needs a contract too. He is not RFA offer sheet eligible. He is just a regular RFA. And the fact that the Ducks only have $9 million in cap space for a guy that's supposedly wanting 15, it really does look bad on Pat Verbeek, does it not? Hey, you had a year to sign Leo Carlsson. Why did you not do that? This was made even worse when you saw the question and answer that Daily Faceoff had with Leo Carlsson and Elias Pettersson from last year. Take a look at this. Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, I know, it's weird, but they were doing some interview in Sweden. Elias, what do you think Leo Carlsson's next contract is going to look like? Elias asks Leo, are you going for a bridge or 8 years? Carlsson said 8. Pettersson said, okay, then I'll say 8 years at $9.5 million per. Wow, I would take that for sure, Carlsson went out there and said. So last year, it was established via this interview that Leo Carlsson would have supposedly accepted a $9.5 million contract per season for 8 years, and that Pat Verbeek is an idiot for not going out there and doing that because now he's signed the guy to a double AAV contract. What if I told you Pat Verbeek was actually kind of screwed over by Leo Carlsson in this situation, instead of this just being, oh, he fumbled the bag. Let's get into Elliotte Friedman, because he went out there and posted a bonus 32 Thoughts podcast earlier yesterday afternoon. Matt and Ryan Keaton, who represent Leo Carlsson, took us through the last 10 months from negotiations with Anaheim to the offer sheet. Great answers to terrible questions. So Friedman and Bukauskas are going out there and literally talking to the agents that represent Leo Carlsson and get some info as to how the offer sheet came about. Well, let's go out there and read. Friedman says on the podcast, the Anaheim Ducks offered Leo 8 years by $10.5 million a year last offseason, around the time when they had signed Jackson Lacombe to his $9 million AAV deal. Jackson Lacombe, you take a look at it, this guy, he signed on till the end of 2034, big money 8-year contract that was handed out on, what was the date here? January 9th, 2001? No, not then. Goodness. October 2nd, 2025. So around this time, Friedman is saying the Ducks offered Leo $10.5 million a year. The agents on the podcast, Matt and Ryan Keaton, they say the Ducks were very persistent with trying to sign Leo, but they, the agents, had no intention of signing that early, with where they saw the market going. The agents also say that the plan after the season was to wait until Bedard signed to start working on a deal for Leo. It sounded like they were willing to wait a while for that to happen. They weren't expecting the level of offer sheet interest that they got. So, it actually wasn't that simple, wasn't it? It's not as simple as Elias Pettersson telling Leo Carlsson, hey, do you think you could get 8 years and $9.5 million per year? And Leo Carlsson's like, yeah, I'll take that. Great. Let's do it. I'm down for that money. All of a sudden, it's, hey, wait a minute, his agents are getting offered more than that. The Anaheim Ducks and Pat Verbeek were saying back in October, hey, we want to sign Leo. Here's $84 million. We want to get this done. And then the agents were like, no, we don't want to do that. No, we know you want to sign him. You're very persistent in signing him. But we are not going to sign Leo Carlsson. And they wanted to work out a deal based on the framework of what Connor Bedard would inevitably sign for. Jack goes out there and says, in other words, this is collusion. They knew about the offer sheet, in my opinion. Well, that's not really what that is, but hey, I guess I see where you're coming from. It's like, hey, the Leo Carlsson agents, they know that this guy is going to have a big market for him a year from now. So Pat Verbeek, you can try as hard as you can to sign him to an $84 million deal, 8 years, 10.5, but we are not budging. Another reply says, oh, so it turns out Pat Verbeek was way ahead of this, and it's actually all just on Leo and his agents. Cool. Keep Verbeek around. This definitely puts a lot more pressure on Leo Carlsson this season. That kid better start putting up 100-point seasons ASAP. Screw his greedy agents. So, you know what? Everybody said that this Pat Verbeek situation blew up in his face, it exploded. Oh, he would have signed at 9.5 a year ago. No, he wouldn't have. We now know that the agents rejected 10.5. Whether or not this dollar amount in this contract ever got to Leo Carlsson, the individual himself, we'll never know. But when it comes to the people that negotiated on his behalf, it seems very clear that they were the ones that allowed this Carlsson RFA offer sheet eligibility to bleed into this summer, and it wasn't Pat Verbeek's fault, at least not 100%, in the ways that we thought. So with that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Leo Carlsson's agents actually going out there and rejecting a bigger dollar amount than what Leo Carlsson himself said he would be okay with? And how does this change your view on how everything went down between Verbeek, the Ducks, Carlsson, and the Flyers? If anything, this puts so much more pressure on Leo Carlsson, but I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.